Do this.
We are the New York Knicks. I'm back in the New York groove. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks is taking no shorts, just like winter. New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Go New York, go New York, go!
Everybody, welcome to the New York Knicks podcast, part of Dash Radio. I am Jay. How you doing, Mark?
I am doing. Jay, why not us, Jay? Why not us? Why not us? When the draft comes, why do we never move up? When the star is available, why do we never get him? Why not us, Jay? Why not us?
It's very poetic.
Why not us? Why not us?
Our email is nyknickspodcast@gmail.com. I have a feeling most of these emails are going to be related to the big topic today, so why don't we just let the emails drive our talking point?
Sure, why not? Actually, I wanted to read one of the questions from Facebook. I thought was a good one also.
We got an Instagram one, too.
Okay. Rob writes, who's the next star Knicks fans are going to say is coming here at the end will never come here? Who do you think? So, by the way, since last show, Donovan Mitchell is on the Cavaliers, and Cam Reddish may or may not have asked to be traded. There was rumors that Cam Reddish asked to be traded. Cam himself on, I think, Twitter said that, who'd you hear that from? Like, he refuted it on Twitter.
Twice.
Twice, or Instagram. I don't know, some social media. But anyway, Jay, why not us? Why not us?
So I think the next star we're probably less than a season away from the Zion rumors to start, right?
No. There's never, you don't have a break. We're not going to take a year off from chasing a star that's not coming here, Jay. So the next year, it's all going to be about SGA. Shea Gilgeous is going to come here. It's guaranteed. It was God told Moses on Mount Sinai that SGA is coming here, and the Knicks are going to trade Cam Reddish for him and maybe a draft pick. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I can't believe it didn't happen. Why not us, Jay?
Because Holmgren got injured, so they're going to trade their best player instead of just wait a year. Makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, they've been tanking with him. Why would they just keep tanking with him? But he's definitely the next one on the list. Mm-hmm. Bill Simmons on his show, even him and Russillo, they said the Knicks should go after SGA. And in theory, SGA should cost less picks than Donovan Mitchell. I'd love to get SGA. And he's got 5 years left on his deal, so he's probably going to force his way out into the Knicks. Everyone's forcing their way to the Knicks.
It's amazing.
So there's a bunch of things came out. I had some questions for you. So initially, Woj at least, and there's a lot of reports. So who the heck knows what's true, what's not true? But I tend to, if Woj reports it, I'll give it some credence. Woj reported that the Knicks' initial offer was RJ, Mitch, Obi, and 3 unprotected firsts for Donovan Mitchell. What do you think of that, Jay?
I think the Knicks are so lucky that Ainge got greedy and said no to that. That would have been an absolute disaster. How mad would we have been? That would have been an absolute disaster.
What's the goddamn point of getting Donovan Mitchell if no one's left on the team?
You would have had 2 6-foot guards. You would have had, I guess, Fournier or Cam as your starting shooting guard. Your entire big man rotation's gone. You have Randall and I guess Isaiah.
Hardenstein's good. I mean,
but then your backup is like Sims and nobody else.
It's just a bizarre move to get rid of RJ, especially. Getting rid of RJ, what do you have left? Like, he was like the centerpiece of the team to build around, and you're like, oh, we can. And Donovan Mitchell is clearly better than RJ, but like, is he enough of an upgrade to make the trade worthwhile?
There's a lot of people saying like they should have made the trade. They should have made a trade. If that deal got turned down, what do you want? Like, are you really mad that the Knicks didn't do that deal?
I mean, in theory, that maybe the Knicks gave 2 pick swaps. I mean, Cleveland had 3 unprotected firsts plus 2 pick swaps. Was it 3 unprotected firsts?
Yeah, but that's the
also,
Cavs. The Cavs are going to be better. Those are worse draft picks on paper.
It's also the Cavs have a nucleus that's worth going all in on. The Knicks aren't quite there yet.
So the Jazz got Colin Sexton, Lauri Markkanen, Ochai Abgali, 3 first rounds and 2 pick swaps. I think the Knicks deal was better. I think Ainge just wanted to stick it to the Knicks and took a lesser package.
I mean, I don't think so. I mean, first of all, that player they took, who I'm not going to even try to pronounce his name, was the 14th pick of the draft. So they really got 4 firsts, if you count that player. And two pick swap.
If you want to do that, you could say Obi was the top 8 pick.
Yeah, but this was like this pick just happened. The guy hasn't played a game yet.
I don't know. Lowry seems like a salary dump, and
Sexton's not that bad of a player. He's a very good player.
I still think the Knicks package is better. The Knicks firsts are going to be more valuable than the Cavs first.
I mean, in theory, they should be more valuable because the Knicks. Yes, I agree with you completely. Yes, the Knicks have a track record of being an absolute dumpster fire. So you'd bet the Knicks. You'd bet in those 3 picks being top 10 picks much faster than you'd bet in these Cavs. These Cavs picks are all going to be 20 or later, basically.
So the Cavs were a pretty good team last year, and they basically got Mitchell without giving up anybody who's in the rotation because Sexton was out all season.
Is it weird also so apparently all the picks that they've traded for Cleveland, they start in the year Donovan Mitchell is able to leave in free agency. So maybe they're like, yeah, Donovan, have fun in Cleveland. I'm sure this will work out for you guys.
That's funny.
So I guess first off, a lot of people are giving Leon Rose a lot of credit for not going crazy and being just playing smart. Do you think that first package he offered was smart?
I think that was crazy, and I think he should have been fired on the spot for making that offer. And
Also, why would Leon Rose think that Danny Ainge wouldn't be greedy?
Well, I mean, there's a difference between that seemed like he was like, all right, I'm not going to go back and forth. This is our best offer, and Ainge still said no. And the final offer seemed a lot worse.
The final offer, was it IQ, RJ, or they removed RJ?
No, it was IQ, RJ, and 2 firsts. So basically, he took away a first, and he swapped IQ with Obi and Mitchell. Obi and Mitchell with IQ.
For some reason, I think Leon Rose made a lot of really poor calculations.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first calculation, thinking that the Knicks are going to be a better team if they get rid of RJ, Mitch, and Obi, and they bring in Donovan Mitchell. It's going to and 3 picks. It's going to be worth making that trade. I think that's a poor calculation with this team.
I honestly, I would have fired him right there.
Second, I think the idea, and I know people love Leon, but the idea that he did not know that whatever, if you can't come to Danny Ainge and go, this is our last and final offer, of course it's going to be like, yeah, this is a negotiation. We're going to try to move up from here.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no way he's going to think that Danny Ainge is just going to settle on that. But you did not anticipate Danny Ainge being greedy?
Well, I mean, what is your point? That he should have started lower than that initial offer and moved up to that?
I mean, I guess so, yes. I also I wonder, what was the point in getting into this negotiation in the first place?
I think they really, really wanted Mitchell, and Mitchell, and I think they were willing to pretty much gut the team for him.
Well, they didn't, though. They here's the thing. I guess the weird thing is that Danny Ainge is going to want a ton, but you're only willing to go so far, not crazy. You didn't go Cleveland crazy as far as picks, but almost why not? I don't think it'd be a good move, but if you wanted him, why wouldn't you do it?
I mean, what you think? 2 pick swaps would have put that initial deal over the top?
Let's say, yeah, maybe you're I'm going to hold back RJ. I'm going to hold back. I'll give you Obi and 4 firsts, or the three unprotected firsts, all the protected firsts that are worthless, and 2 pick swaps. Maybe that gets it done. My question really is, why did the Knicks not go over the top? If you were going to be in it, be in it.
I mean,
I don't think it's smart to be in it, but why? Why not?
I would argue they went over the top, and they just didn't want to do something completely insane. Although the 2 pick swaps, you got to think that Utah is going to be bad for a little while, so you're not even going to.
Right, it's not even going to be a big deal getting the pick swaps.
Yeah.
I just think the calculations on the idea that not anticipating also did they not they thought they had him you're well, there's no one else you can trade with. And Cleveland's like, no, you can trade with us. Like, did you not anticipate another team going over the top?
I don't think they went over the top.
You don't think Cleveland? You don't think
Ainge took
Cleveland
a
went over the
worse
top?
deal. I think Ainge took a worse deal.
They got a lot of draft picks. You know what actually kills me? Forget this miscalculation kills me even more. Is that Leon Rose thought these protected firsts were worth anything.
I know. The Knicks really should have just drafted somebody in the first round this year, and not done that, all the moving down and future heavily protected. That was all garbage. That was a waste of time, and it was garbage.
Every year he does this stupid, cute draft thing. I'm smarter than everyone else. I'm going to do some crazy stuff at draft time. And every year, like, what do we have to show for it? Year one, and I know, like, I'm not to beat a dead horse with this one, but the Knicks had, what, the 32nd or 33rd pick in the draft. Like, they had, like, a top 2, 3, maybe it was top 4 pick in the second round. That's almost a first-round pick, and not an amazing pick, but, like, you can probably get a decent player there. The Knicks punted on that. They traded that second-round pick for a future second-round pick. No good reason. Then the year two, the Knicks they had picks 21 and 23, ended up only taking someone at 25. Why not use that first-round pick? They punted again. I guess they ended up turning that punt into Cam Reddish, who our coach doesn't want to play. It doesn't, like, what are you doing with these picks? This year you use the pick to get off. You use your first-round pick basically to get off of Kemba Walker's like $9 million contract, which you never needed to do.
I don't get the people saying Rose is doing a good job when he made some good picks like late in the draft, but there is plenty of good first round picks that he could have taken that would have made the team better. So yeah, I like IQ, I like Grimes, but the Knicks would have been better off drafting somebody higher up in the draft who's arguably better than those players.
I hate the argument. People are like, well, there's no playing time. Our roster's there's no playing time. Is our roster that stacked? I didn't know we won 82-0 last year. I didn't know we won the title. I didn't know we had the best team in the history of time.
No point in drafting when you already locked in the 11th seed. I mean, why add to that talent?
Why not just draft players every year like every other team does, give them roster spots, and see what happens? Maybe you get a guy who's like, he wins playing time in camp because you're like, hey, this guy's better than Quentin Grimes, or this guy's better than Obi Toppin. He'll play over him. Or maybe you get to this point and you're like Danny Ainge, hey, we have a bunch of young guys who have shown a lot of potential. They haven't got major minutes yet, but you see they have potential, and you're going to want them in the deal.
Yeah, it's like if Woj's report is totally accurate, the Knicks didn't even offer those projected picks that they moved down for, and Ainge didn't ask for them. So basically, they were worthless. And
I'm sure they must have been part of the trade. I don't know. I mean, maybe Woj doesn't even mention them because they're such like a non-factor.
I mean, obviously, it wasn't this like over the top thing that got the trade done.
No, he's like, listen. By the way, Leon Rose never spoke to Danny Ainge the entire time.
I heard he hired somebody else to do negotiations.
Gerson Rosas, who came over from Minnesota, he did handle negotiations because he had like a relationship there. Great relationship. That worked out real well. I'm glad you had the guy with the relationship. That worked golden. That was a golden idea.
Another brilliant move.
Brilliant idea. I don't really understand exactly what like. Do anyone feel more confident Leon Rose is more qualified for this? Like, he's qualified for this job?
There's Rose defenders out there.
There are a lot of. Everyone thinks he's playing 5D chess, and the team isn't bad. I mean, they're not like good, but not bad. Like, they're not. We're going in some direction, slightly through the mud. I don't hate all his moves. I like IQ. I like Grimes. I like Obi. I think he could do a lot more with all the options he's had.
During the negotiations, I didn't see. I really like that initial offer, but you got to throw in that top 18 protected pick.
I mean, this year's draft, there were 2 steps to his trade. If he did step 1, he would have had protected picks, plus he would have gotten that first round pick he could have used. Mm-hmm. Whatever. Yeah, at no point was it was Danny Ainge like, come on, give me the protected picks. I need the protected picks.
You know what I'm going to be really, really angry is when all these protections, like take effect, and we end up with either second rounders or like it just disappears into the void, and we ended up punting on a first rounder for absolutely nothing. That's when I'm going to get really mad.
You also know he's never planning on using these picks. Like he'll never draft someone. He'll just keep punting and be like, it's too hard. It's as if 15 guys aren't on a roster. Like everyone feels like our team is so stacked. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
So Jorge writes, hey guys, are you kind of glad we didn't get Donovan Mitchell? We probably would have been an 8 seed with a gutted roster and 5 less picks. So what's next?
Yeah, it does really feel like this was like very similar to Melo, especially when you look at the trade packages. How different is this from Melo?
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that still would have been more left after this trade. You still would have had Brunson, Randall, Cam. Like, it wasn't as.
Do you really count Randall and Cam as positives? Nothing against Cam, by the way.
I don't know. I honestly don't know, but better than what was left after the Melo trade.
I mean, we had Amari. In theory, was a good idea. We had who else was still in this?
That was really about it.
Yeah, there wasn't that much on the team.
And,
But
I guess he could. I mean, Melo was a better player, but
even though I had someone arguing with me online, there was like that Donovan Mitchell was better than Melo. I'm like, are we really now like rewriting like Melo is a very, very good player? No disrespect to Donovan Mitchell. Melo was a better player at that point in his career. Like, there's no question about it.
I am not a Melo fan in the slightest, and I will still admit that he was better than Mitchell.
I mean, Mitchell's good. The thing is, with Mitchell and the whole point of like, did he really move the needle that much to go all in on him?
No, that's that. Well, back to Jorge's question.
Yeah.
If you made that trade, you're still probably a play-in tournament, only now you have a lot less draft picks.
Yeah. So the rumor also is that the Knicks organization, they weren't that into RJ. Like there were people in the organization, I guess. They always talk about people in the organization. You never know like who actually says what. But they're saying that basically they were totally fine. People in the organization aren't that high on RJ and felt kind of forced into giving him the contract extension.
Well, yeah, if he was part of the initial offer and the final offer, clearly he was not in untouchable status.
Yeah, according to an NBA source, the Knicks, this is from Mark Berman, the Knicks would have preferred not to sign Barrett to a hefty contract extension at this moment. They wanted to at least wait until the mid-October deadline to see him at training camp, or even July 1st when he would have hit restricted free agency.
Training camp? Like you're going to play a couple scrimmages and be like, all right, yeah, you're right. He's worth $100 million.
I mean, I understand you can. I mean, they signed Randall a year earlier than they needed to, and it worked out poorly. So maybe you're thinking like we're more hesitant for that reason.
Oddly enough, Randall wasn't part of any of these packages
because no one wants Randall.
Yeah.
Every time I see someone online being like, when people are like, "Oh, maybe we need to attack, maybe use some of these protected first to move Randall," they're like, "No, Randall's an asset." You know, he was All NBA a year ago. Yes, we all know that. We all know that. And we all know that no one in the NBA will give you anything for him.
Yeah. Even the Lakers, who were like last year of like probably a productive LeBron, and they're still like, no, we're not even going to trade Westbrook for Randall.
You don't think the Lakers would do that? I think the Lakers would do that.
It was rumored that the Lakers have reported they have no interest in Randall.
Oh, I thought the Knicks said no to that.
No.
The Lakers are stupid. They should think Randall would be worth. I'd rather have Randall than Westbrook.
Of course.
The Barrett was drafted going on from what Berman wrote. Barrett was drafted before Rose and senior executive William Wesley's time with the team. The Knicks general manager Scott Perry made the Barrett pick in 2019. Even though it wasn't unanimous, they didn't want to pay RJ now. They like RJ, but he's not one of their guys, the NBA source said. The preference was to trade him in a Donovan deal. If they got Donovan without Barrett in the deal, they weren't going to pay RJ now.
So even if they got him, they weren't going to give him the extension.
Well, they were going to wait on it. It's just like kind of a. I know RJ got $120 million. It's a ton of money, and it's great. But it was kind of like, here's $120 million because I guess we have to give it to you. I mean, I'm fine with RJ having as many chips on his shoulder as possible because, like, great, let him play, like, let him just overcome all that shit.
Yeah.
But it's not a great vote of confidence where your team's like, when it's reported, basically, we kind of wanted to trade you. We kind of gave you the extension just to, like, say F you to Utah. but we really didn't want you.
Weird. Jonathan writes, hey guys, I'm so frustrated about not getting Mitchell. When will we get another chance of getting a 25-year-old star who wants to play for us? And for the fans saying that that was a lot to give up for him, what do you think the next GM of a star player is going to ask for? Ainge set the market. So now we are left with our young guys who are fans overly hyped. If you listen to the majority of our Knicks fans, our young guys are like Kobe Bryant. And what are we going to do with all those picks? Because we can't draft them all. So if we don't want to trade them, what's the point?
Well, we're gonna need more players and more talent, so we can just keep trying to find more talent. That's what I got. I don't know.
I mean, we say we have all these picks, but I said it before. A lot of these aren't even going to convert. They're either going to turn into second rounders or they're going to disappear, and so we're not even going to use them most likely.
Yeah, or else next year Leon's track record is to play cute in the draft, so he's definitely going to play cute again next year and like punt something or whatever. I just feel like I was chatting with someone online about this. They were saying how like, well, it's not a top 10 pick. I'm like, well, pick 11's not like it's still a pretty good pick. Well, it was a weak draft, and like all the guys we're going for these days are guys. Donovan Mitchell was drafted 13th. Jalen Brunson was drafted 35th or something, somewhere in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of players that get drafted after 10 who end up being pretty good. And then the person's response was, well, I mean, it's almost impossible to find those guys. Yeah, do the impossible. Find those guys.
Every other team has found those guys. Every single other team.
Yeah, if you don't take a chance, you're never going to find these guys. It's also the same organization, same fan base that's like, Quentin Grimes is amazing. He was picked after 10th. IQ is amazing. He's picked after 10th. If the 11th pick just turned out to be another IQ type player, great. Like, we're going to be worse off for having that player on the team.
You're never going to guess what pick Shea was, the next guy the Knicks are targeting.
11?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just crazy how the Knicks they're like, well, we don't even need a second round. What's the point of even taking a second round pick? Oh my God, that guy was taking a second round. Let's give him like max money. It's just like it's really, really hard to build a winner in the NBA, but it's even harder if you're not valuing the draft.
Yeah.
It's super hard to find these guys in the draft, but if you're not drafting, like getting a star player like Donovan Mitchell is really they don't come up very often. When they do, you have to gut your team to get him. And then if you get Donovan Mitchell, what do you have? Let's say you have Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Brunson. Let's say you kept RJ. Are we winning a title?
I mean, they're capped out, so that's the team.
Well, you'd say, well, you know what? There'll be another star. I mean, Donovan Mitchell's the first star. We'll get a second star. What are you going to trade for that second star? Because you already gave all your assets to get the first star.
Yeah, and you can't do free agency because you're capped out.
Yeah.
Even if you trade RJ, you still, between Randall, Brunson, and Mitchell, you're capped out. That's it.
If your strategy is to get your star players through trades, you're in a really, really tough situation.
Yeah. You can get one star in a trade. You're not going to get multiple. You're either going to have to do it in free agency, which means managing the cap, or drafting. And
yeah, I'm not talking about like if you have cap space and you do like a trade where like you sign the guy, but it's a sign and trade just to like that's different.
Yeah.
A real trade. What teams have traded their way to 2 stars when they're real actual trades?
I can't think of one. You have to time. I mean, there's teams that have timed it where they signed one guy and traded for another guy in the same offseason, but I can't think of one that made 2 monster trades. I mean, you could say Lakers, they signed LeBron, and then the next season they traded for Anthony Davis.
Right. The Nets signed Durant and Kyrie, and they the next season they traded for Harden. Fine.
Yeah. Yeah, one trade.
And also you got Harden in that team. And the issue is that team, despite having 3 superstars, people were like, this team's kind of gutted. There's no one else on the team.
Right.
That was still an issue with those 3 guys on your team.
And with that team, I would argue that their supporting cast was pretty good.
Yeah, they were actually. I mean, we'll see. They're back this year with Ben Simmons instead of Harden. But you
got one more email.
To the email question.
Jonathan writes, can anyone tell me what we're going to do with 9 first-round picks that we have in the next 5 drafts? We can't have them all, and for some people, we can't trade them either. So what now? If I were Leon Rose, I would have offered 4 first-round picks instead of 3 and take Barrett out of the package. Utah's main targets were unprotected first-round picks. And another thing, now that Barrett is making $26 million a year, do fans are going to boo him when he's shooting 33% from 3, 42 from 2, and not creating for others because of his tunnel vision? Because in case anyone forgot, Barrett is one of the most inefficient players in the whole league.
Knicks fans will. It doesn't matter how much you're getting paid. Knicks fans will just boo you anyway if you're bad. No issue if you're paid a lot or not.
I can't really argue with the inefficiency. I mean, he's got to work on that, or the Knicks aren't going anywhere.
No, I mean, we're really banking on his future.
Yeah.
I mean, he has to get more efficient. But a lot of players, I mean, I'm not looking at the stats right now, but Jimmy Butler, I remember early in his career, was very, very inefficient.
Yeah, but he also played insane defense.
Okay, well, RJ plays defense. Just to get rid of the word insane, and we're almost equivalent.
I mean, RJ plays basketball.
Yeah, exactly. I play basketball. I'm just like RJ. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to figure out a path for this team.
It is.
On the positive side, there's on the positive, we have a point guard for the first time in years. Jalen Brunson is going to be above average point guard. We have a lot of average to above average players.
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't be too upset about the not getting Mitchell. I don't think with the package that was offered, I don't think the Knicks are any worse off without him.
I think Donovan Mitchell would have added a few wins, but it would not been he's a very good player, but I don't think he's quite the difference maker. If we were trading for a LeBron James 10 years ago, or even Kevin Durant right now, I would have said, yeah, just go all in with the picks. If you can, just get him here.
Yeah, but I mean, without RJ, Obi, and Mitch, I don't think that team is really going to be higher than play-in teams. And then you're capped out and you have no draft picks. So
right,
I don't think it was really. I think the Knicks dodged the bullet. I really do.
Yeah, I agree with you. I just don't think I guess what's the path forward here though? How is the path forward different than having Donovan? Donovan, you get Donovan Mitchell. He's a very good player. Let's say you kept RJ, but you traded OB and IQ. And you got rid of all your firsts.
And they maybe added a fourth unprotected and something like that because
something like that.
Because that deal's way worse than the initial offer. So
I don't know. Go back to the question for a second. Read the first part of the question. I wanted to address the email.
Oh, the first part was that we have 9 draft picks in the next 5 years.
Oh, I think what you were saying before, the draft picks that really matter are the Knicks draft picks. Those are the ones those are the unprotected ones. And those, I mean, the Knicks might be really good, and if they're not going to be worth that much, or if the Knicks suck, it's going to really be painful not to have those picks.
Right. But yeah, like I said before, I'd be surprised if we got more than one of those 3 protecteds. I don't think we're going to get any, but I'd be surprised if we got more than one of them.
Yeah. Is it weird though? I'm just gonna hang on, Jay. We have a caller.
Okay. Hello, caller.
Ring, ring. Hey, Jay.
Mm-hmm.
This is Mark from. I think we just started the podcast.
Oh, hi, 2010 Mark.
Yeah. We just started a podcast. So, what's the gripes in the Knicks world these days? You're still doing the podcast? We must be pretty big.
No.
Oh. Did we take a long hiatus? And we're finally back to doing it.
This guy Jeremy Lin came. Numbers went really high, and then Knicks weren't good for a while, and we kind of flatlined.
Cool.
Yeah.
I don't know why I called in, but Jay, what's going on with the current Knicks? Just ruin the future for me.
All right, so we tried to gut the team for an all-star, just like when we first started the show.
Oh, yeah, we're just doing that right now. But it's going to work out. We're going to get Melo. I mean, no one else is going to be on the team, but, it'll be fine. We got Melo.
Yeah, it won't be, but yeah, it'll happen. Yeah, and so let's see.
What was guiding the team? What were they offering? A lot of draft picks?
Draft picks, Felton, Chandler, Gallinari, Mozgov.
No, I meant in the future. So fans, I assume fans are really against trading the draft picks. After the decade we've just had, I mean, fans I know I don't want to trade any draft picks. I imagine the fans are upset about the draft picks being traded.
Well, the Knicks got some heavily protected draft picks from a couple other moves.
Oh, okay.
And so then the Knicks fans now want to trade the unprotected Knicks picks and
Wait,
keep the protected ones.
wait, the Knicks fans are now in favor of trading our draft picks.
They want to trade all of them. Yeah.
We just had a decade of trading them, and it worked out horribly.
Yeah, but this time it'll work.
Wait, so you're saying 10 years from now, we're gutting the team to get another star player, and we're in favor of getting rid of all our draft picks?
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. I'm gonna kill myself. I'll talk to you later.
No, don't kill
There's
yourself.
more?
We have 580 more episodes to record.
Oh, so I already it was like a car accident, and now I'm just in hell.
Yeah, pretty much. Welcome to purgatory.
Isn't it amazing? I don't know. This bit was a bad idea, but isn't it amazing how where we went from trading all the draft picks, everyone being like, "Oh my God, what did Isaiah do? What did the Knicks do? We got rid of all the draft picks. Oh my God, we traded all these picks for Melo. We have no draft picks. We're finally getting draft picks. I'm bored of drafting. Let's get rid of these picks again." It's complete lunacy how we run this organization.
It is.
Not we, but the Knicks.
Okay, so why don't you pull up the Instagram question? I will take a quick break. While you do
Okay.
that. Football fans, the first Sunday of the NFL season is here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is giving new customers a can't-miss offer to celebrate the return of the NFL season. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $200 in free bets instantly. As an added bonus for Week 1, everyone can experience the thrill of DraftKings early win promotion. It's simple. Bet on an NFL team to win. If your team leads by 10 at any point during the game, you get paid instantly, even if your team loses. Download DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code NYKP to get $200 in free bets instantly when you place a $5 bet this Sunday. That's code NYKP only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-NEXT-STEP in Arizona, HOPENY in New York, and Redline 1-800-889-9789 in Tennessee. So yeah, $5 will get you $200 in free bets instantly. Check it out. NYKP.
That's a great deal.
It is.
Unfortunately,
Unfortunately, I can't do it again. I did it last year, and it was a lot of fun.
Los Dude 0451 writes, name your starting 5 past or present Knicks players that you loathe. Mine is, according to him, is Kurt Thomas, Jared Jeffries, Charles Smith, Bargs, and Raymond Felton. Jay, you want to start? Let's do position by position.
I loved Kurt Thomas, by the way.
I like Kurt Thomas a lot also. I'm surprised in that one. But
Yeah.
Which point guard do you hate the most or loathe the most?
Which point guard? All-time Knicks loathing point guard.
And just not all time. Let's do it Let's do it since the show started.
Probably Fat Felton. I was a big fan of Skinny Felton, but then when he showed up fat, I got kind of pissed off.
It's kind of bipolar. It's kind of like it's a Skinny Felton was great when he first was here. I was very excited about it.
Yeah, I was a big fan.
Fat Felton I had an issue with, obviously.
I just got mad that he showed up out of shape and never got back in shape and kind of stunk.
Yeah. Didn't love Elfrid Payton.
The thing is, I didn't hate Elfrid Payton because I knew he was like a second or third string point guard, and that it's not his fault the Knicks made him a starting point guard. So I always felt kind of bad for him.
I felt bad for Calderon. He got a lot of shit when he was like, I'm coming to the Knicks to be a backup. And then Phil Jackson's like, you're our starter. Sorry,
He's
what?
like, excuse me? I'm like 36.
Yeah, like my career, I was hoping to do one more year. And you're like, nope, you're playing 48 minutes a night. Do it. I guess I did. If I can just separate Fat Felton as a separate person, I would say Fat Felton.
Yeah.
Shooting guard.
J.R. Smith.
He wasn't that bad, though.
It depends what day of the week. The fact that you knew he was going to play horrible every Saturday and Sunday just I couldn't deal with it.
He was a very frustrating player.
Look at his. If people don't
His
remember,
splits
look at his
are
splits.
frustrating.
Like weekend games, he averaged 14 points a game and shot like 15% lower than during the middle of the week. He was scoring 24 points a game.
Yeah, J.R. Smith, because of the talent he had, was very, very frustrating. I agree with you on that one.
Just seeing him tweet at like 3:30 in the morning from a club, I'm just like, you're such a bitch.
Small forward, I guess.
Charles Smith.
It's not since we started the show, but
Yeah, still.
okay. So you're not going to do it since we started the show. Like you're just going to go back.
I'm trying to think of a small forward I disliked. Does Bargnani count as a small forward?
The way the Knicks used him, yes.
I know.
Fine.
Guy
It was
played
fine.
like center in Toronto. But, like, I think the Knicks played him way out of position.
East is big. Okay, power forward. You're going to say Melo. I know you're going to say Melo. It's weird to say Melo. Melo's the most productive player we've had since the show started. So,
I know. I just didn't think he was a great teammate.
he was frustrating, but in retrospect, at least like he could play well when like it's the Knicks kind of screwed him over also.
Yeah.
There's the problem also with since we started the show is no one's been on the team very long. The team just turns over and over and over. In many ways, I'd say KP because KP I find extremely frustrating.
Can I say Jerome James?
Sure, I'd say KP. I loved him until he was traded, and I just started hating KP. And I just wished I wish nothing but the worst for him in terms of the NBA terms, not personally.
Right.
Center?
Was Curry on the team during the show?
No.
It's all blending together.
Cantor? Center?
That's a good one.
It's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Cantor was frustrating. The guy's name Jared Jeffries. I just never thought he had a lot of talent, so I didn't like hate him. Kurt Thomas I liked. I think that's rough on Kurt Thomas. I don't see why Kurt Thomas draws your angst.
Cantor posting that Instagram of cheat day, eating like 8 burgers, and then calling out sick because he had a stomach problem that night was like peak Cantor.
Yeah. I find him annoying. So what do you think, Cam Reddish? He wants to be traded, or maybe not. What do you think of Cam? Like, should the Knicks try to trade him? Should they try to use him? What's going to happen with Cam Reddish?
I don't even know what his value is. The Knicks traded first for him, and then I don't know. What is he going to play? 15 minutes a game?
Maybe. I mean, first of all, players will be injured. Everyone will have their opportunity. If you're good, you can work your way in practice. Like if Cam is really good, he'll earn his shot.
Mm-hmm.
This roster's not so loaded. Are you saying because he's third in the depth chart?
I'm saying because he's playing behind RJ.
I mean, they can mix and match. RJ and Cam could be on the floor at the same time, easily. Is RJ a 2? Is RJ a 3? He's probably going to play both positions.
Right.
Like, we're going to have some mixing and matching here. We don't really have too many true threes.
I think the problem with this roster is, like, a lot of these positions, there's nobody who's, like, clearly way better that should, like, you know, at the 2, you could be like, okay, you know, we're going to play Fournier, we're going to play Grimes. Like, is one that much better than the other? Who knows?
You know what? You know who thinks IQ was awesome?
Who?
Besides all Twitter. But I thought this was really interesting. So 538.com, you know, 538, Nate Silver.
Yep.
So they do projections, and they have this thing called the Raptor player rating. And they evaluated everyone in the NBA. And you could look up all the Knicks. And the only player that this is the best any player rates is IQ. And it says category borderline all-star. They say his 5-year market value is $138 million.
They said he had a higher rating than
RJ. So
than RJ and Brunson and Randall.
So he's worth 5 years, 138. Let's see what RJ is worth. RJ Barrett, they call him an up-and-comer. They say his 5-year value is $80 million.
Oh, well, good thing we only gave him 125.
Well, whatever. I mean, Brunson, who would be Brunson's 5-year value is $97 million. And it says category good starter.
Okay.
By the way, how much do you think Jokic is worth?
Whatever the max is, 50.
There's no max. There's no max. Just pick a number. 5 year. How much do you think he's worth, basically? And his category is MVP candidate. Obviously.
300.
459 according to this.
Okay.
So he's worth 459. The Knicks best players are worth like 80.
So
or
over
90.
50, over 5 years, the entire salary would be 550, and he's worth 469 of that.
I don't know. I don't know. He's worth 459. So according over 5 years, I think he's worth 90 million a year.
Yeah, that's like 90% of the cap. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. They have some system. I don't understand their system, but it is interesting. The part that's interesting is they think IQ is potentially the best player on the team.
That is interesting.
I mean, do you want to pick some other players? See how much they're worth?
Mitchell Robinson.
I was gonna say Obi, by the way, is 5 years, 26 million.
Awesome. Do Halliburton.
Oh, by the way, Donovan Mitchell this is interesting. So IQ is 5 years, 138.
Mm-hmm.
Donovan Mitchell is 5 years, 126. They think IQ is worth more than Donovan Mitchell.
Interesting.
You want to see Halliburton?
Yeah.
I don't know why you do this. You did this to yourself.
I know. I know.
Tyrese Halliburton, 5 years, 167. And the category, future All-Star.
He's going to make the All-Star team next year, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Do Obi.
Julius Randle, because why not? He is, you'll love his category.
Mm-hmm.
His category is dubious starter. This is all by the way on 538.com. It's interesting. 5 year value, $29 million.
Oh, my God. Mitchell Robinson?
Oh, yeah, you mentioned it before. What are you guessing for Mitchell Robinson?
5 years, I'm going to say they lowballed him at like 35.
I'm going to guess he's worth more than that. He is 5 years, 98 million.
Okay.
He's one of the higher rated guys in the Knicks, and his category is up and comer.
Okay. Let's do one more. Let's do Fournier.
Oh, it's a good one. I didn't look him up last time. I was looking at this last night. Okay, so his category is rotation player, 5 years, 30 million.
All right.
You want to see Grimes?
Sure.
He's the other guy we were excited about.
Mm-hmm.
He is rotation player, 5 years, just under 60 million.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. But the part that's really interesting is the fact that they are so hyped about Emmanuel Quickley.
Yeah.
They seem to really like his on the court, off the court stats are through the roof. He's like the Knicks just always, at least last year, were much better with him on the court than they were off the court. I gave him a lot of crap for being a poor shooter throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
His true shooting percentage isn't terrible because it factors in free throw shooting. And what do you think? IQ, how good can he be?
I mean, I think he could be pretty good. I think he could be a part of like a 3-guard rotation. Like he plays backup for whoever the 1 and the 2 is. Like if they stagger minutes, so he can still play like 35 minutes, like a J.R. Smith type role.
Do you see him starting or off the bench?
I think he has more 6-man potential, like a Jamal Crawford, Jordan Clarkson type of guy.
Do you still like him paired with Derrick Rose on the bench?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. But you're right. So if he plays 30 to 35 minutes, I mean, last year, what did he play? 25 minutes a game?
Yeah.
Something like that. So do we think IQ will step up this year? Like have a real emergence?
I think so. I expect IQ, Grimes, and RJ and Obi to all get better.
Yeah. I mean, they don't get better. This ship is sinking real fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think with the addition of, I think Jalen Brunson is going to make a big difference in this team. Yeah, I think people are overreacting about losing that.
The annoying thing is Cleveland is going to be a really good team, and everyone's going to be like, "See, we should have gotten Mitchell," not like acknowledging the fact that Garland and
Mobley
and Jared Allen are all on the team.
Yeah,
like you could argue they might have like 3 or 4 All-Stars next year, and so like, you know.
I mean, the problem with the Knicks is Knicks. I know it feels like the Knicks have been bad since the beginning of time, but we've also just missed every year we're bad. We screwed up the draft pick.
Yeah.
We have so many, like, you can't miss out on these many draft picks and then suddenly want to be good. Like, we mixed out, obviously, we screwed up. Like, KP, that was the first year that we had a top 3 pick. We nailed the pick. We turned KP into nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Yep.
Then we have a Dallas pick coming up at some point. We turned, then we had Frank, nothing. Knox, nothing. Obi, nice piece, but
Probably the wrong pick.
Yeah, probably the wrong pick. And RJ, you got RJ in somewhere, and then you can argue that Garland maybe, but RJ was a consensus guy, and I'm happy with RJ.
Yeah, no, I saw Mark Berman say, the Knicks should have taken Garland. 100% of every mock draft had RJ as the third pick. Like,
right. Garland also had only played 6 games that year. He was injured most of the season.
Yeah, it would have been insane to take Garland over RJ. People would have been mad. It would have worked out, but on draft night there would have been boos.
And either way, it's not like we just whiff with RJ. It's not like RJ is
no,
like
they got one
Darko.
out of all the
You
ones.
got very good players. Yeah.
It's just they whiffed on the other 4. So you can't bat 20% on draft picks onto top 10 draft picks.
Right. It's almost like we should have been bad longer if you're gonna miss all these picks. It's almost like the Knicks should have been bad a little bit longer. Like in that year, the year we won 42 games and we were all excited for the 4th seed. Perhaps that year, perhaps the Knicks shouldn't have brought all those vets. They should have just kept going with the young guys a little bit longer.
Right.
Because they were like, well, now we got Tibbs and we want to win now and all that, and it kind of now put us in a worse seed as far as actually drafting. And now we're in this stuck in the mud where we're not going up and not going down, kind of. Where are we? What, 8 to 11?
As far as draft picks,
Or just as far as seeds? We're somewhere in the 8 to 11 pick probably.
right?
No, sorry, 8 to 11 as far as the draft. Not draft. I meant as far as the playoffs. The 8th.
Yeah.
Are you following me? Because I'm saying
Yeah.
this over and over again.
Yeah.
I'm messing this up. The Knicks are either going to be in the playoffs of the 8th seed or in the play-in tournament. That's around where they're going to be.
Yeah.
And to really get better from there, the only ways we're getting better, what's the path forward?
There, maybe. I mean, you can't bank on getting lucky in the draft. As far as moving up spots, but they're gonna have to nail the picks they have.
Yeah.
And really develop their talent, and maybe package a few guys for an upgrade. But I don't think you're going to get an all-star for what they have. But maybe if you can package a couple players and get slightly better and keep tweaking the roster like that.
I mean, if you think about this, the most positive, optimistic way, we have a deep roster. If Brunson's numbers when Doncic wasn't playing were awesome.
Yeah.
He was averaging over 20 points a game. Brunson can do that here or close to that. That'd be awesome. Every year RJ gets a little bit better. If he gets 10 to 15% better, that's huge. IQ gets 10 to 15% better. Grimes gets a little bit better. Everyone in the roster is young and they keep getting better. Team's going to be a tough team to, and we're deep at every position, or most positions besides small forward.
Well, I mean, Cam might be good, so then we're deep at the 3 too.
Yeah, and the center, Isaiah Hartenstein is he could end up being really good.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the big elephant in the room is Randall.
There was a thing about Hartenstein. I think I told you off the air, but there was something about some guy on Reddit, did a ton of analysis and research, and his big claim to fame was pointing out that Jokic was going to be awesome before Jokic became awesome. He was this guy's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And the only other player he's ever said is going to be amazing was Hartenstein. So if maybe this guy knows something from all his study, maybe Hartenstein's going to jump off the page this year.
Javier says he's from Utah and Mitchell is fun to watch, but he was not all-star. That's why we always lost in the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like Utah, not like they were dominating the playoffs.
No, they were a really good regular season team and got a really high playoff seed and then kind of, I guess, underperformed each year.
Jay, you know what happens in a month from now?
A month from now is regular season.
No, we're preseason.
Yeah.
But we got A month from now, we're going to have real things to talk about. The news is going to move forward. We're going to see these guys playing, and the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it will be. It'll be a lot more fun because things will actually be happening.
I look forward to the days where we don't have to do an entire show on a trade that didn't happen.
I really wish. I wish we could just stop pretending all these guys are coming here.
I mean, we've been pretty realistic about it.
Yeah, I know, but it's just this drumbeat all the time. There's LeBron's coming here, then Durant's coming here, then there's all these Donovan Mitchell's coming here. All these reasons. Just develop a team.
Yeah. All right. So nyknickspodcast@gmail.com. We're NY Knicks Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon. Like and subscribe. We're on iTunes and Spotify. We do our shows live on Twitch, twitch.tv/crumpledbacon, and YouTube, youtube.com/TITOWAJ. We will be back next week, and maybe something new will happen. If not, we're gonna have to start doing our preview of.
Maybe next week they'll have traded Donovan Mitchell to the Knicks. Cleveland will trade him to the Knicks.
Yeah. Donovan Mitchell will just refuse to go to Cleveland.
By the way, I have to say for the people who are the IQ lovers on Twitter or just out there, I like IQ. But there are people that are huge IQ fans. It's to a certain extent, it's a shame he wasn't traded for Donovan Mitchell, because if he was traded for Donovan Mitchell, it's almost guaranteed he'd be better than Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
If we traded him, he would have been a guaranteed All-Star. Now he can only be a borderline All-Star in the Knicks.
I mean, honestly, I'm happy. I'm happy the Knicks did not trade RJOB and Mitch Robinson and
It was
three
a lot.
unprotected.
It was a lot to trade. It just isn't
that would have been hard to stomach.
Yeah, I feel like we almost felt like he was the Messiah coming here. People were acting oh my God, Donovan Mitchell's the greatest player to ever play the game.
Well, I think the other part that people weren't thinking about is that him and Brunson are both about 6 feet tall.
A lot of people pointed this out, but go on.
I've never seen a championship contending team with two guards that small, two starting guards that small. That would have created a lot of matchup issues. That would have been exposed pretty quickly, I think. It's
weird also because people were well, Mitchell, his wingspan, he has such a great wingspan. He wouldn't get smoked. You're doesn't he get smoked every year in the playoffs? Teams pick on his defense every year in the playoffs. That's part of the reason Utah does not win in the playoffs.
I'm pretty sure he got targeted this year in the playoffs.
Wasn't Jalen Brunson killing him in the playoffs this year?
Yes. Yeah.
And Donovan Mitchell's a very good player, but we're going a little over. Do you think is Cleveland going to be a top 4 team now?
They might be. You
think so?
They have Garland and Allen both made the All-Star team last year, right? So now you're talking about you got a 3 All-Star starting lineup plus what?
Mobley's pretty darn good.
Yeah. So it's a pretty nasty team.
Yeah, they're going to be pretty. Are you getting tired of teams lapping us, Jay?
The fact that they did a complete rebuild in 3 years.
They won the title, got really bad, and now they're better than us again.
It's crazy how quickly. It was only 3 years, right?
No, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah. You got to nail draft picks. That's what it comes to. They got 2 really great draft picks with Garland and Mobley, and then they got lucky that the Nets for some reason didn't want to keep Jared Allen
and LeVert.
And LeVert, yeah.
I don't know. It's just I'm impressed that they were able to do a complete rebuild in 3 years. Honestly, other than the Kings, every team has done at least 1, sometimes 2 or 3 rebuilds in the amount of time since we started this show.
The Kings were better than the Kings.
All right, I'm going to end the show on that. We're better than the Kings. Thanks for listening, everybody. We will be back next Monday.
Bye, love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end.